Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing a little kill count on Captain America the Winter Soldier, which came out back in 2014. This is considered by many to be one of the best MCU films, and I gotta say, I'm one of those people. This film really helps to modernize Captain America, and it's probably about as close to a grounded story as we're gonna get in one of these movies. For better or for worse. On top of that, the action is great, the tension keeps up for the whole film, it's just a very exciting watch. This is also the first MCU film to be directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, who are known as the Russo brothers. Prior to this, they were more focused on helping create the sitcom Community, but this was their first big step into blockbuster cinema, and I gotta say, they did a really good job. But will the quality of the kills match the quality of the overall film? Well, let's get into the movie and find out. The film opens in Washington, D.C., and we see a man just enjoying a nice little run.
On your left.
Oh, okay, that's a little annoying.
On your left.
Hey, can you f*** off? This is Sam Wilson, an Air Force veteran, and just a guy that Steve just so happened to run into. Their little meeting is cut short when Natasha Romanoff pulls up. Her and Steve have a mission to get to. Turns out that Captain America has been working with S.H.I.E.L.D. since the end of the Avengers. We catch up to them on their mission to rescue hostages held up on a ship full of pirates. Oh, no, not that kind. Not that kind of pirates. This mission is being carried out by Strike, a counter-terrorist special mission unit of S.H.I.E.L.D. Their leader is this guy, Brock Rumlow, who... he just looks a little bit too intimidating, but whatever. Captain America jumps down and gets ready to work. Now we all remember that Captain America has a much slower fighting style than everyone else, so this is probably just gonna be, you know, like a fun sequence, but nothing too exciting. Oh, okay. So yeah, one of the Russo brothers' main goals for this film is to help update Captain America in a way. They wanted to make him an exciting character for modern audiences, which means he needs to fight faster, especially for this sequence. He needs to make sure every guy is either knocked out or thrown overboard or just outright killed, just to make sure that no alarms go off and the mission is just completely compromised. So clearly this guy is going onto our count. I cannot confirm or deny if this guy is dead, but given how hard Cap kicked him and how big of a shock this was for the audience, yeah, this kill deserves to be highlighted here. Then there's also this guy who Cap just bitch slaps off the boat. He is also going on here because I really doubt he recovered in time to get back to safety. Eventually the rest of the team joins him on the boat. On his way down, Rumlow shoots another pirate that almost takes out Rogers. Rumlow and the other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents move in to save the hostages. Natasha just goes and sneaks off to do her own thing and shoots 5 pirates of her own, taking them all out incredibly quickly. To rescue the hostages, Rumlow and the rest of the Strike team shoot the pirates guarding them. In total, 4 pirates drop and the hostages are saved. Meanwhile, Captain America is searching the boat for Natasha when he is ambushed. This is Batroc the Leaper, the leader of this whole operation. He is played by MMA fighter Georges St-Pierre, who seemed to have a really great time with this role.
It's an honor getting beat up by Captain America.
Cap manages to knock him out and finds Natasha just kind of doing her own thing. She reveals that she had her own mission here, which is to download some files that were on the boat. Cap reprimands her for abandoning them and almost jeopardizing their mission. Back at the Triskelion, which is S.H.I.E.L.D.'s headquarters, he storms into Nick Fury's office to confront him about it. Fury takes Rogers downstairs and introduces him to the new Project Insight. This next step for S.H.I.E.L.D. is to launch 3 helicarriers into the air that will be connected to satellites to locate and neutralize any enemy targets. Rogers isn't the biggest fan of this new project. He's big on trust, unlike Fury.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
Rogers needs some time to clear his head after all of this, so why not go back to the one place that makes him feel safe? The Captain America exhibit? You narcissist. While this exhibit does help to remind him of the good old days, it also reminds him of everything he lost during that time, specifically his best friend Bucky Barnes. After making a kid almost shit himself, he decides to pay a visit to the still alive Peggy Carter, his girlfriend from the war. Older Peggy Carter was one of the harder visual effects that the crew needed to do. They initially wanted to do it all practically, but unfortunately the heavy prosthetics really limited Atwell's performance. So instead they used a similar technique they used to create the smaller Steve Rogers in Captain America: The First Avenger. They got an older actress to play the part and mapped Haley Atwell over it to create this effect. Afterwards, Rogers pays a visit to Wilson, who's leading a session for soldiers with PTSD. Wilson encourages Rogers to find what makes him happy, and it's clear that Rogers is just kind of wandering, not really living. Meanwhile, Fury is trying to access the data that Romanoff collected, but finds that to be just a little difficult. He discusses this with Secretary Alexander Pierce, who is in charge of looking over everything that S.H.I.E.L.D. does. He is played by legendary actor Robert Redford from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting, which is one of my favorite 70s movies, by the way. Just a little fun fact of my own if anyone cares. Fury asks Pierce to delay Project Insight, which he seems to agree to.
Fine. But you gotta get Iron Man to stop by my niece's birthday party.
Thank you, sir.
Fury leaves and gets ready to meet up with Maria Hill, when he notices some strange things are happening. He is then ambushed by cops and SWAT. Fury manages to fight back and blast 10 of these supposed cops with a hidden machine gun he's got stowed away in his car. He speeds off and causes a car crash that ultimately results in the deaths of 3 more quote-unquote police officers. They're probably fake cops, but I'm not entirely sure. Fury tries to get away, but he is stopped once more. Fury cuts a hole through his car and slips away. Rogers returns home and has a nice conversation with his neighbor. She tells him that he left his stereo on, sending Cap into alert mode. Turns out Nick Fury broke into his apartment after the whole incident on the road. Fury tells Cap that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been compromised. Oh my god. Cap goes over to Fury, who gives him the USB drive and warns him not to trust anyone. Rogers' neighbor bursts in and reveals that she is an undercover S.H.I.E.L.D. agent sent by Fury to spy on Rogers. They learn that the shooter is still nearby.
Tell him I'm in pursuit.
Fun fact, this line in particular was actually really difficult for Chris Evans to say.
Tell him I'm in Tell him I'm nope. No. Tell them I'm in pursuit. I can't. It's not gonna happen. I can't speak. Let's blow this popsicle stand.
Captain America catches up to the assassin, who it turns out is the same guy from the road. Steve launches his shield at him, but the assassin catches it with ease and launches it right back. The assassin then vanishes into the night. Fury is then rushed to a hospital where the doctors try to save his life, but they're too late. Luckily, Maria Hill is there to collect the body. Hey, wait. Where's the kill graphic? Where's the... Oh. Okay, whatever. Moments passed. I guess he just doesn't get one. Seems that's just odd, I guess. But okay, whatever. We can move on. It's fine. Rogers is getting weird vibes from everyone now and decides to hide the USB in a vending machine. Everyone hates Hubba Bubba. It's the perfect spot. Rogers goes to have a conversation with Pierce, who says he'll stop at nothing to find out who's responsible for Fury's death. As Rogers leaves in an elevator, he's slowly joined by a bunch of other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who seem to be a little too trigger happy.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Cap manages to knock everyone out and escapes by jumping out the elevator. This fight scene is iconic, and many consider it to be one of the best action scenes in the entire MCU. It was also the first scene that they shot for the film. What a way to start things off with a bang. He escapes the base by stealing a motorcycle and crashing a S.H.I.E.L.D. Quinjet trying to stop him. Rogers is then declared a fugitive by S.H.I.E.L.D., believing him to be responsible for Fury's death. Rogers returns to the hospital to pick up the USB drive, only to find out it's gone. What gross bastard likes Hubba Bubba? Natasha tells Rogers that the assassin is known as the Winter Soldier, and that she had an encounter with him before that left her with a pretty nasty scar. But she also knows if she were to tell anyone else, they'd tell her she was probably insane, so Rogers is the only person she can trust. The duo then head to the Apple Store so that we know they're the good guys. They use the USB drive here to try and find something, only to be led down another dead end. Unfortunately for them, S.H.I.E.L.D. has tracked the location of the USB drive to their location. Steve and Natasha manage to escape and start a new wave of fanfics. Captain America then steals a truck, which may seem out of character, but is actually a reference to the original Captain America film released back in 1994, where he does this shit.
Would you pull the car over, please? I think I'm going to be sick.
Are you okay?
When they arrive at their destination, Rogers realizes this is actually Camp Lee, where he trained during the war, bringing back all sorts of memories. They eventually find a secret storage room which has a lock on it, and that lock was notoriously difficult to break during filming. Inside, the duo find a bunch of old computers. Do you think they got Doodle Jump on that? This is actually an early SHIELD office that was hidden away. They plug in the USB port into the machine and are greeted by Armin Zola, who's uploaded his mind into a computer. He reveals that he was recruited by SHIELD following his capture, but has been secretly rebuilding Hydra from the inside. He reveals that some deaths of major figures were caused by Hydra. When he says this, an image of Howard Stark flashes on screen. Steve Rogers will remember that. Zola reveals he created an algorithm for Hydra that's even more evil than the YouTube Shorts page.
This group of people went on a boat ride at a family theme park.
I think I might have just found the most useless person. Like, this is the worst. I'm sorry. All you had to do was play the video. But you can't do that, right? Because it's not yours.
Before he can reveal anything more, a missile is then launched their way and they are locked inside. Rogers and Natasha, using some quick thinking, manage to survive the explosion. The two retreat to the one place they know they can be safe. Stark's house. No, I mean Sam Wilson's house. Sorry, I forgot. Meanwhile, at Pierce's home, it's revealed that he's got an intruder. Or maybe a friend. Turns out the assassin is working for Pierce. Unfortunately, Pierce's assistant Renata is also present in the room, and Pierce has no choice but to kill her, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. At the safe house, Wilson offers the duo his help, and surprises the hell out of Cap with his resume.
Thought you said you were a pilot.
I never said pilot.
The group then travels to Washington, D.C. and captures SHIELD agent Jasper Sitwell. This guy was in the opening scene, and he was also secretly working for Hydra this whole time. He had just finished a meeting with Senator Stern, who we last saw back in Iron Man 2. Thankfully, he's not that big of a dick here.
Hail Hydra.
Oh, come on! Senator Stern was played by actor Gary Shandling, who began his career writing for sitcoms like Stanford and Son. Unfortunately, this would be the last time he would play this character before his death in 2016. Rest in peace. The group manages to lure Sitwell onto a roof nearby and begin to interrogate him. I guess he dies. Okay, I'll go get that kill graphic ready and, wait, never mind. Sitwell reveals that Zola's algorithm calculates if a person is a possible threat to Hydra based on their past. Hydra is planning on using Project Insight in combination with Zola's algorithm to eliminate all of their threats at once. The group, now caring for my sanity, making this kill count and wanting to keep the death numbers low, make their way back to the Triskelion. Things seem to be going pretty well. Oh. It's a good thing I had that kill graphic ready then, huh? A big battle breaks out and Captain America is separated from the rest of the group. In the meantime, Wilson fights and kills one of the soldiers on the bridge by kicking him off before firing at some of them on the ground. And then the Winter Soldier blows up a cop car. He loves blowing things up, I guess. On the ground, Captain America and the Winter Soldier face off in one of the MCU's best fight scenes. I get chills watching this, it's so cool. In the end, Captain America manages to overpower the Winter Soldier and rips off his mask to reveal that the masked man is actually Bucky, his best friend. Bucky doesn't remember Steve and goes for the kill, only to be knocked down by Sam. Bucky then escapes, and the trio are captured by Rumlow and his men. Going back to that fight real quick, there's an iconic moment where the Winter Soldier flips his knife in this very flashy way. It turns out that Sebastian Stan learned how to do this in real life and just kind of loved doing it a lot.
My friends were making fun of me. I was just kind of walking around the house for a while, just sort of flipping this plastic knife. I mean, I was driving in intersections and just flipping it in the car.
During their trip, Captain America recalls seeing Bucky being experimented on when he rescued him back in the 1940s. Whatever they did to him must have helped him survive the fall. Ultimately, the trio's arrest doesn't last long as one of the guards seemingly turns on his cohorts. Turns out this was actually Maria Hill in disguise. The group managed to escape and Hill leads them to find Fury, who had somehow managed to survive his attack. Also, we get a cameo from director Joe Russo, who is here playing a doctor. They reveal that Project Insight is almost ready to go into effect, and that the group needs to use 3 special chips that will allow S.H.I.E.L.D. to take back control of the helicarriers from Hydra. This also led to one of my favorite moments from the gag reel.
We need to link all 3 carriers for this to work. I got confused with my eyeline. I think I looked directly into camera.
I don't care. You just forgot the line. Now you're trying to make up some other What was that
No,
the last line?
Meanwhile, Bucky begins to remember a bit about his past. It turns out Zola was the one who gave him his cool new arm. And in case you didn't know, yeah, Bucky lost his arm, which is an important detail, but we won't know why until later. Besides the obvious point of him getting the arm, it's also important for something else, but we'll get to that later. But his superiors don't take kindly to his newly found nostalgia and order that he be brainwashed once more. Standing next to Pierce in this scene is actually Ed Brubaker, the writer who created the Winter Soldier in the comics. I'm really glad he could have a cameo in this movie. He created a fantastic character. While that is going down, Rogers remembers a time when Bucky comforted him following the death of his mother.
I'm with you to the end of the line, pal.
He feels conflicted about fighting his best friend once more. Members of the World Security Council arrive at the Triskelion to witness the launch of Project Insight, and are all given a special badge. At the same time, however, the trio break into the communication systems, and Cap gives one of my favorite speeches in the entire franchise, where he reveals that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been infiltrated by Hydra.
The price of freedom is high. It always has been. And it's a price I'm willing to pay. And if I'm the only one, then so be it. But I'm willing to bet I'm not.
Rumlow breaks into the control room and orders this guy to send the helicarriers into the air, only to be stopped by Rogers' neighbor, which leads to a big gunfight amongst everyone. We count 6 people here who get killed, as Rumlow, in the end, manages to get the helicarriers in the air. Romanoff, who's been revealed to have been disguised as a councilwoman this whole time, manages to subdue Pierce and begins to leak all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s information online, revealing Hydra's secure files and possibly doxing every S.H.I.E.L.D. employee. However, in order to get the files online, there needs to be 2 high-level S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to disable the encryption. This is when Nick Fury enters the scene. They scan their eyes and disable the encryption on the files. Meanwhile, Rogers and Wilson manage to put 2 of the chips on the helicarrier, leaving just 1 left because that's how math works. As Wilson heads for the last helicarrier, he is intercepted by the Winter Soldier, who damages his suit. And when I say damage, I mean he breaks it. Hill tells Wilson that Rumlow is heading to the council, and he moves to intercept him. On board of the helicarrier, Rogers meets Bucky once more, and the two begin to fight. Pierce, fearing for his life, activates a device lodged in the council members' badges and kills all of them. They all just drop. Oh my god. They all fall except for Romanoff, who short circuits hers, which distracts Pierce long enough for Fury to land a killing blow, but not before he can let out his final words.
Hail Hydra.
Rogers, after taking his sweet time getting shot, manages to upload the last chip onto the helicarrier. This changes the targets list on the helicarriers to each other, and they begin to fire at one another. Wilson and Rumlow, who have been fighting this whole time, realize that the helicarriers are crashing. Wilson, now in contact with Romanoff and Fury, informs them that he's on the 41st floor and does a leap of faith out of the building, leaving Rumlow to be crushed underneath all of the rubble. And Wilson nearly dies because of Fury's poor counting skills.
41st floor! 41st! Not like they put the floor numbers on the outside of the building.
Meanwhile, Rogers and Barnes are still fighting. Rogers is trying his best to remind his best friend of who he is, leaving Steve to drop his shield and refuse to fight him anymore.
Then finish it. Because I'm with you to the end of the line.
Rogers then falls from the helicarrier into the water below. Suddenly, a hand grabs him and drags the captain to safety. It's revealed this was Bucky, who then walks off into the lonely road, the only one he's ever known. We waited until the end of the sequence to do this, but just like with the Avengers, we got an official number of kills that happened in this battle. In total, there were 23 civilian casualties, and to make my life easier, we decided to add in various kills that happened to random characters during this scene to that amount. So in total, for this battle, not including the ones we mentioned already, we counted 39 casualties. Not gonna lie, I was actually expecting this number to be much higher, but I'm glad it wasn't that bad. You did good, Cap. You did good. Rogers wakes up in a hospital bed, and luckily this time, not much time has passed. While he was recovering, however, Fury has officially been declared dead, and he has destroyed all evidence of him being alive. But he's not going on the count because he is still alive in reality. I'm not going off of technicalities or whatever. He's still alive, clearly. Due to the recent doxing that someone caused, Romanoff tells Rogers she wants to go and find a new identity for herself, before handing him a file on Bucky. Rogers wants to go after him.
You don't have to come with me.
I know. When do we start?
In the post-credits, we meet this guy named Baron von Strucker, one of Hydra's leaders. It's revealed that he has somehow gotten a hold of Loki's scepter from the Avengers. He tells a fellow Hydra agent that the age of heroes is over, and now we're in the age of miracles. We then reveal two people, a man who can run really fast, and a woman who just really loves toy blocks. In the next post-credit scene, we catch up with Bucky, who's visiting the Captain America exhibit in an attempt to find out who he really is. How many kills do we count in Captain America's second MCU film? Well, let's get into the numbers and find out. In total, we only counted 80 people who died in this film, with 1 woman, 56 men, and 23 unknown. With a runtime of 136 minutes, that gives us a kill on average of every 1.7 minutes. I'm giving the completed Gauntlet Award for coolest kill to this guy who Captain America kicks off the boat in the opening scene. It perfectly sets the tone and vibe of Captain America's updated fighting style. This was the moment Captain America became cool to a lot of people, so I gotta give it to this one. I'll give the Broken Ultron Bot Award for lamest kill to nobody. Yeah, I'm being serious. I don't think there's a bad kill here at all. Good job. And that's it. The movie was a huge box office success and helped to make Captain America cool once more. Next time we'll be looking at Guardians of the Galaxy, which is one of my personal favorite MCU films made by one of my favorite filmmakers. But until then, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, I want to shout out my sister who helped count the kills for this video. I also want to shout out Dead Meat, who I stole this idea from. If you guys don't know who they are, they do kill counts on horror movies, very similar to what I did here. So if you like this video and you like horror movies, go give their channel a look-see, or look at, one of those two. Go check out their channel. They make great stuff over there. So yeah, go support them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean the world that you guys clicked on this video and watched the whole thing. I really do appreciate it. So thank you. Long live cinema.